Well, today's the day. We are transforming these 4-stud hubs, these disgusting, old, outdated 4-studs to these ones. This is in the effort to fit these brand new wheels that I have. I mean, they're not really new, they're fucking 20, 30 years old, but new wheels to me, alright? These new chrome wheels will be replacing these, I don't want to call them reps because they're not, but yeah, these old ones anyway. And you guys get to see me struggle with removing these hubs and putting these new ones on. Unfortunately, it is also very overcast and pissing rain, as you can see. And oddly enough, it is Good Friday, so the day before Easter. Now, I'm supposed to get these hubs changed around and wrap these new wheels before tomorrow, because tomorrow, for Easter, I'm actually going on a camping trip. And ideally, I would like to have these wheels on. It's already just after midday, and I haven't even started yet. So enough talking, let's get stuck in, eh? I reckon I'm gonna start off with the rears, just because they're a lot simpler to put in. I've got some S14 rear hubs to replace the existing ones. And yes, I'll be honest, they're not the best looking, but the bearings are still good. There's no grinding, it's nice and smooth. And alternatively for the front, because I couldn't find a front pair anywhere, I've got some ZSS 5-stud hub conversions from a company called Just Jab. Basically brand new. They're a direct replacement on for the front hubs, which is pretty nice. We've got some S14 5-stud rotors in here, and because the front are R33 big brakes, I've got these really girthy ones here to replace them. I've also got some fresh brake pads to go with them, because if you're gonna change it all, you might as well do everything up. Alrighty, so we are gonna have to jack this car off real quick. Alright, barely got it under. Hi, welcome back. Say hello, look. You're getting so big, you know that, right? Nothing like a puppy anymore. You old as fuck. Ah, so that's why you were drawn down here. Let's get this cotter pin slash, oh fuck, split pin off. I'm gonna get some pliers that can actually fit around that. These are dirty as. I wish I had some replacements for these, but my dumb ass did not pick any up. So we're just gonna have to reuse this. Thank fuck. So I've just realized I can't actually get this this little hub off, because my little toolkit, God forgive, I only have a 32mm, and that one down there is a 36. So I'm gonna have to take a trip back to Super Cheap to get this 36mm. Yep, all right, let's go. So annoyingly, they don't sell sockets by themselves, and for a 36, it was slim to none. The highest they had was 32 in their normal steel sockets. So instead, I've had to come away with a ridiculously expensive, I don't even know what material this is. Anyway, it was the only 36 that they had, and it was like 40 bucks. So pretty fucked if you ask me, but I've got the split pins here, or the cotter pins, whichever you want. And then I've got some more anti-seize because I realized that I was out. That all sorted. Let's get back home and continue this hub install. So we should be able to just pry you off. Alright, so that should now fit over. Perfect. Now, gotta find my brake bar. Oh, and you get. Alright, might need a bit of leverage if I can't get this bad boy off. Alright, you know what? Let's see if the impact works. Wow, would you look at that? Voila. Now we've got to take off the caliper. So it's just these 3 bolts holding in the caliper up top here. Out you come. Perfect. Let's lay it there. Oh, fuck me. Alright. Could definitely do a bit of a clean up back here. Alright. Uno. This without sending my hand Mach 2 into the fucking caliper here. Oh, beauty. Get the fuck out. Alright. And with that, caliper is off. Now, if everything goes according to plan, this should now just come off.
It looks nice, it still looks...
Yeah, it's still got a lot of life in it.
Do you want to keep it? In case you want to go back to the...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm thinking, like, maybe, in case I ever want to go back, but for the time being, foreseeable future, it'd be 5 studs, so... But I'll hang on to these in case, because you never know. Wow, this is really crusty. You should crusty as fuck. It's got like a thick layer of just shit. There's some bolts back there. I gotta get out which of these little fuckers in there. This will be interesting to see if they even come out, because that is really built up. Right, so after evaluating the situation, I don't think I'm gonna be able to reach these bolts from behind. Like they're open, but they're very thin, I can't really get the sockets on. I don't even know what size they are, so I can't even get the thing on. So, bad news. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it today. What I reckon will be the better option, I'm going to have to be a bit of a pussy about this, but using a hoist on this car to get underneath it and get more angles to get those 4 back bolts out will be a lot easier than just removing all these control arms and the coilover just to get behind there and fiddle around for a couple of hours, you know, with some heat and just a hammer trying to pound them out. Like, it's redundant. Like, it'll be fucking 11 o'clock by the time I get one out. So instead, I am gonna head to my pop's place the next couple of days after the trip. It'll be a lot easier and a lot faster. So yeah, I will see you guys in a couple of days' time. Alrighty. Hopefully this looks alright. Alright, so it has actually been 3 days after since removing, well, I guess not really removing the hub, never got around to it, but starting on the rear. And I said that we would go to my pop's place and tackle this on the hoist in 2 days' time, which would have been yesterday, but it didn't happen because there is a little secret something that has happened, and that is for a future video. It is too big of an event to put into this video, otherwise this one will drag out for the next hour, which I'm sure you guys' attention spans aren't that good, not unless I put some Subway Surfers below this video. Maybe then you guys might pay attention. But anyway, I did some research, and what I found out was the front hubs on the S13, they don't have the 4 bolts holding in the hub. So, what that means is we don't need to get on a hoist, we don't need to remove any of the coilovers, control arms, etc, to take out those bolts because they don't exist. Game plan for today is we're going to jack up Silvia here and we're going to get her front hub sorted out. So if they are as easy as I've been reading about online, should be no hassles. But as always, there will be complications. There always is. So I will see you guys once I jack her up. So just like the rears, take off the wheel, the space that's on it, remove the 4 bolts behind the caliper to get the pads and the caliper off, followed by the split pin and the axle nut on the inside. So yeah, I will start doing all that now. Yes, finally, come on. Oh, kind of mutilated it a little bit, but still reusable. Oh, there's one. Oh, there's the other. Not too bad, not too bad. I'm gonna separate these two. Out you can. Let's go grab our equipment that we are going to need to install the 5 stud hubs of this. Cool thing about these replacement hubs that are going on is you don't need to press out that bearing from the 4 stud one because it already has a pre-installed bearing in it. So it's quite literally just a direct swap from the 4 to the 5. You're gonna feed some grease down in there and smear it around and keep rotating it and just get every groove, every air pocket just covered. All right, get your grease, just get it in there. You're better off with a bit more grease than none at all, because if these bearings go in dry, no lube, no nothing, that is how they get fucked up. Now similarly, you want to put this grease on the actual spindle, whatever you want to call it, but that'll make this nice and easy to slip onto. Normally with me being me, I would like to clean these up as much as I can. If you're gonna take it all apart, you might as well clean it up and do it all right, but all the brake dust and everything that gets kicked up here, there's just no point. Like, you can clean the pan in the back here, but ultimately the outcome's still gonna be the same. It's gonna flare back up and it's all gonna get grotty and disgusting like this. So all I can clean is the spindle here, wipe off the old grease and reapply some new one and install the new hub and the new rotor to go with it. Also gonna have to wipe down the big washer that came in it, get all that old grease off. Alright, nice and clean. Don't add too much, just a little bit, like that. So now we can take our hub and just slide her on nice and careful. Make sure that grease is nice and spread out. I might add even a bit more grease just so I can see it kind of coming out when I'm spinning it. Alright, let's try that again. Beautiful. Spin her around. Now, I don't know if you guys can hear the difference, but there is no more grinding. That's why I added that little bit extra grease there. There was a bit of clanking going on, but it's perfect now. Now we can go ahead with our washer here. There's a shape of it on the inside of this. It goes upright like that. Perfect. Now we can put our little castle nut back on. Feed you through. Split that bottom up. So now we can just curve you around to fit inside. Yep, she ain't perfect, but does the job. So these can be pretty painful to get out. Like, they're really heavy. I think, let's put you down. Yep, those are a lot bigger than I thought. I think I got the wrong ones. Let's just see how big this difference is. The original, about 280, and the ones I got are about 300. 20 difference. Interesting. There is definitely a bigger thickness in terms of the level. That is a bit skinnier on the width than these, but I'm still gonna make this work. Alright, so we've run to our first issue. I don't think these rotors are going to work here, because when you try to fit the calipers over the top, they don't actually reach their holes that they have got to be bolted into. So I'm not going to be able to use these rotors. I'm going to have to resort to the S14 5-sided rear ones that I got and temporarily use them on the front, because I think that the calipers will fit those without any issues. So let's get those switched over. I don't think these are going to be as good as the other ones. Well, they won't be. They're smaller, they're thinner, but they'll do the trick temporarily. So let me give you guys a bit of context and explain how fucked my situation is. To put it simply, for reasons I will not get into, I need to move Silvia by tomorrow night. Otherwise, I will be turned into a paraplegic. So with no brakes and not being able to roll Silvia, since I live on a hill, what do? Well, at the moment, I rock some R33 GTS brakes with a 26mm thickness and 280 diameter. The rotors that I bought are for an R33 GTS-T model. So for a turbo variant, the rotors are of completely different specs. They're thicker and bigger, with some 30mm thick and 300mm diameter. So that's why they didn't work a second ago. My next train of thought was to use the S14 rotors I bought for the rear as a, temporary fix. Since the last pair were too big, I needed something smaller, right? Well, the S14 rotors were actually too small. So small, in fact, that the pads couldn't even reach the rotor. So that idea was dropped as fast as I thought about it. So now what? If I ordered the correct rotor, I'd be waiting a week before they got here, so that's a no-go. In that case, what does any sane person do when they're in need of a quick buy? That's right, the one and only Facebook Marketplace. Did a quick search for what I thought I needed and found some S15 rotors, but also because these were the only rotors being sold nearby. The guy selling these two was also selling the 4-pot calipers that came with them, and because I was so desperate, I dropped the band and bought the lot. So on my third attempt, I fit the rotors and they all seemed to be going, as planned. They were the right diameter, they fit, so I torqued everything down and well, what are the results though? Well, that's not good. Yep, I'm wrong yet again. Third time in, third time unlucky. As it is, the S15 rotors do in fact have a 280mm diameter, but they have a 30mm thickness, meaning they are the same thickness as the R33 GTS-T rotors I bought, in which that means they will never fit the calipers that I have. But at this point, I don't have any time. I literally have to move Silvia out now, or I'll face the consequences. So fuck it, we ball. I decided to put everything back on, torque it all down, and get Silvia out of that port. Alrighty, well, we have successfully moved Silvia, and I look horrible right now, but she's back in the garage and out of that port. Very, very sketchy, I'm gonna be honest. I don't trust any of the work that I do, especially not those rotors. They scraped so much. Now that it's moved into its right position, I can pull it all off again and figure out where to go from there. I'm gonna call it a night here though, because this is just fucked and I'm rooted. With that being said, I have a whole bunch to clean up out here and very little time. I think it's around 10:30 or 11 or something like that on a, Thursday night? No, yep, Thursday night. So, work tomorrow. Hooray! But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.